President, many senators use this bully pulpit to wax poetic, but only on special occasions do I actually quote poetry. Today, as I honor my former colleague, friend of several decades, and our nation's 46th president, it feels appropriate to do so. Quote, "History says, don't hope on this side of the grave. But then, once in a lifetime, the longed-for tidal wave of justice can rise up, and hope and history rhyme." I recited these words, some of President Biden's favorites, by Irish poet Seamus Heaney on the evening of his inauguration as our nation's vice president in 2008. As I reflect on his time in our nation's highest office, I think it's only right to use these words again. Over the course of his long service to this country, President Joseph Biden has been a source of hope and an author of history. And just as Heaney observed, he became one of the rare leaders who have made hope and history rhyme. America is better for it. Over the decades I've known President Joe Biden, he's proven to be one of the finest public servants America has seen. Coming from humble beginnings, he worked hard and put himself in positions to give back to this nation that has given so much to him. When it came to making decisions of consequence on issues that mattered most to the American people, Joe Biden put America first. Through immense personal tragedy, through setbacks and obstacles, President Biden has taken the strength and wisdom he learned from his family, held steadfast unto his faith in America, and gave millions of people in the nation reasons for hope. His record as a senator while serving as vice president under Barack Obama and while sitting behind the Resolute desk himself speaks for itself. When future generations hear the name Joe Biden, they'll think of the incredible growth, recovery, and progress America has made under his leadership. The COVID-19 pandemic changed life in America as we knew it. It claimed thousands of American lives per week and brought our economy to a virtual halt. But thanks to Joe Biden, we recovered from the devastation of this pandemic. We passed the American Rescue Plan to support working families and businesses and address the public health crisis. This law deployed vaccines to millions of Americans, and normalcy returned. In 2020, the world economy was in shambles due to COVID-19. In April 2020, our economy lost nearly 21 million jobs in a single month. Our unemployment rate skyrocketed to 14.7%. But thanks to Biden's leadership, many workers were able to get back to work. Since Joe Biden has taken office, our economy has added 16 million jobs. 20 million new business applications have been filed, the most in any single presidential term in history. And under Joe Biden, unemployment was under 4% for the longest stretch in 50 years. 4 years ago, Infrastructure Week was nothing more than a punchline and a broken promise. But thanks to Joe Biden, we passed bipartisan infrastructure law that replaced our aging infrastructure and expanded access to clean drinking water and the high-speed internet. Thanks to Joe Biden, we took historic action to address the climate crisis through the Inflation Reduction Act, the most significant investment in clean energy, sustainability, and climate resilience in America's history. And we guaranteed American leadership in science and technology with the CHIPS and Science Act, a bipartisan bill bringing semiconductor manufacturing back to America and bolstering our competitiveness for generations. Because of his leadership, we were able to enact the most significant gun safety legislation passed in nearly 30 years, the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act. Thanks to Joe Biden, over $180 billion in student loan debt has been forgiven for more than 5 million Americans, giving them finally a chance at life. We lowered the cost of prescription drugs, made historic gains in expanding health insurance coverage, and continue to fight for the reproductive rights of all Americans. History will also remember Joe Biden for the Violence Against Women Act. He wrote the bill. He championed it while in the Senate, bipartisan legislation aiming to make sure every woman can live free from fear, violence, and abuse. And as chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee, I'm proud to say that I worked with Joe Biden to confirm 235 judges to the federal bench under his leadership, including the first African-American woman and former public defender as a member of the Supreme Court. and that is only here at home. On the global stage, he restored faith in America as a world power, a global leader, and a responsive ally that would not tolerate post-World War II global order to be undermined by autocrats like Putin. He defended Ukraine, boosted competition with China, and strengthened alliances in the South Pacific, oversaw the expansion of NATO and its bolstering of defenses of its Baltic members. But most importantly, thanks to Joe Biden, the office of presidency once again stood for decency, civility, respect, and empathy. I sincerely hope our nation does not lose sight of these values. There is no doubt when it comes to Haney's words, President Biden's life has imitated art. Throughout his time in public service, President Biden inspired hope in so many millions of people. And in his commitment to ensuring that America lived up to her lofty ideals, he left a legacy that will shape history. President Biden, it's been an honor to count myself as your colleague and your friend. On behalf of a grateful nation and the world, I want to say to you and to Jill and all of your family who shared you with us for so long, thanks for making hope and history rhyme. Mr. President, I yield the floor.